you're subscribed. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and become a part of the family. I am Sandrilla, and today is the first episode of the podcast, Let's Talk. Okay, so y'all listen. So today we'll be talking about the fall of Adam and Eve, our ancestors, all of our ancestors, each and every one of us. And even if you're atheist or you're Islamic or you're Judaism, like whatever you fall in your religions or your groups, we all started from here. And you would have to be under a rock to think otherwise or to have people think otherwise. And I think Satan is under a rock. Satan is under a rock. Okay, so listen, let's talk about adding on to the word of Yah and how adding on to the word of Yah is so dangerous for us. And I love how he gave an example of this in his word at the beginning. Like we didn't even have to we didn't have to go past Exodus or in Deuteronomy. Like he gave us what we needed to know what we're dealing with in the beginning. So in Genesis 2:15, we understand that Yah had gave Adam instructions not to eat from a particular tree, right? And this tree that we're talking about is the tree, the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of good and evil. Eating the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And a lot of people like to be stuck on certain terms or certain words that are being used, like the apple. What is the apple? What does that signify? Is it Eve's vagina? Is it this? Is it that? And listen, what it is exactly what it says, is the knowledge of good and evil. So that can cut out a lot of bickering back and forth, considering that knowledge is information and good and evil is between two spirits. And your discernment will help you then understand what spirit some people are in. Um, but in Genesis 2:15, Yah is giving Adam instructions not to eat from the tree of good and evil, right? And it's given that Adam knew exactly what was understood, what was asked of him. But then we see when we add to the word that Yah has already given us, it leaves so much confusion and it leaves so much room for the enemy to play in, that we have to be careful, because it's dangerous to add on to what our Heavenly Father is giving to us. And we see what Adam gave to Eve based on what Eve told the serpent. So we see that 2:15, Yah had told Adam not to eat from the tree. 2:17, we see what tree that he's not supposed to eat from and what will happen. And then we're going to march all the way down to 3:3, and we see what Eve told the serpent. So the serpent is so, like, and it says it like he's so clever. He's so smarter than any other beast on this that was there, even us, right? He say, so you can't eat from none of the trees, just to see what she knew, right? So at the beginning, we see how he manipulate the conversation from the get go. And we're not talking about the spirit world of him being transformed or transfigured into another body, right? We're not talking about him disguising himself as a serpent. We're not talking about how he used manipulating words to beguile, to get over, you know, the woman. We're talking about adding on to the word of Yah. And we see what she said. She said, Eve told him, she said, we must not eat or touch, okay, the tree of good and evil, and if we do, we shall die. And at that particular moment, we knew right then that the enemy had his door open. I mean, it was kicked down for him. And we see that because what he says afterwards, and he literally just dismissed everything that Yah is telling his people. He's like, oh, you won't surely die. He know if you eat this, you gonna know more than him. And little did Adam and Eve knew at the particular time, as they're being what's the word I want to use? They are being manipulated at this time by a transfigured demon that is transformed into something that you would normally see in a garden. You would see a snake in a garden, like they're called garden snakes, you know? So it's not unusual for a snake to be in a garden, but it's unusual for a snake to be talking in a garden, you know? So at this time, we see that Eve is talking to a transfigured demon. And as she's talking to this demon, he just keep manipulating everything until she finally eats the fruit. And when she eats the fruit, her eyes are instantly open, and she realized that she didn't die. But little did Adam or Eve knew that as soon as they disobeyed God, Satan's job was already done. He could have left the serpent, Adam and Eve, there at that very moment, but being that he doesn't have that type of power, he had to stay there until um, he was literally cursed, like all of them, you know. So they were punished. But my point is, adding on to the word can be so dangerous and crucial to us, to where it's so many of us that's listening to certain preachers and certain pastors and certain priests that is delivering the word, but they're adding on to the word with their opinion, or with what they want people to understand, in a sense of making it easier for them or something. I mean, I can think about what Adam was thinking about when he was talking to Eve. Like, girl, don't you go over there, don't even look at the tree, you know? And it was our downfall. And that's just a small portion of what it is that Yah is showing us in his word. Um Not necessarily that Adam and Eve disobeyed him, because that's a major point, hence of why they both was cursed too. But the main aspect of this whole passage is that Adam and Eve are entertaining a demon. So in the spirit world, we have to be careful who we entertain, because sometimes something look like it belongs, or it belongs, but then you have to test the spirit with the spirit. And once we see or hear that it goes against what Yah word is, we then know that it can be a hindrance, and it can be considered as a curse. Oh my gosh, if you made it this far in the video, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And thank you for listening to my interpretation of what Genesis 2:15 through 3:3 um Trent, like, what I'm trying to say is, thank you for listening to what I got from his word, what he gave me through his word. And it's definitely more where that came from. And if you're interested in being a part of the family, make sure you put on that bell so you won't miss the video that I upload. And until we talk again, good night, bye.